Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of August. I hope you are well. I'm using Llewellyn Tarot for you today. At least if I don't drop it. So if you haven't seen these readings before, I structure them slightly differently to the way that I do the main monthly readings, in so much as we are looking for the lesson. I believe that there is wisdom or a lesson contained within, every interaction and experience that we have, but sometimes we can lose sight of that because we get bogged down and stuff, So over the years I found it's easier to navigate the energy if I can work out exactly why I'm in it in the first place. And so to that end, what I would do is pull 3 cards for your current energy, see where you are right now, and then we'll pull 3 cards and work out why you are there, right? If you can keep your eye on the bigger picture, often it helps you kind of get through the minutiae of these things. And then we'll close out with 3 cards of advice. So I hope that that makes sense. Before I go any further, also it's been brought to my attention on my birthday of all days that there is somebody impersonating me on Instagram. They have got my username with a minor adjustment. There's an extra underscore in it, at least the one that I've seen anyway. They've stolen a load of my photos and then they're going around and following people and sliding into their DMs and offering them readings because they have a really important message from the universe. This is not me. It's absolutely not me. It's not the way I work. It's never been the way that I work. Please only use the links in the description box to follow my Instagram. Someone ringing me. Stop that. I do have a Twitter account as well, but it's more or less redundant because Twitter is a thief of time and I just can't do that. So don't follow the Twitter account. I don't think it's even in the description box anymore. I don't have a Facebook account, so if one of those crops up, that's absolutely not me either. I'm not doing personal readings at the moment because I don't have the spoons for it. My personal life is far too chaotic for that at the moment, so I'm not doing that. And when I do, I will not be sliding into anybody's DMs to give them a message from the universe. It will all happen through the Acuity scheduler and the link will be in the description box. I will let you all know for reals, right? So I really hope that nobody's fallen for that, nobody's got scammed by it. It's happening. The tarot community is absolutely rife with it at the moment. I noticed Chris from Minnow Pond has also been having that sort of issue, so just be aware. And if you're really not sure, just send me a message on Instagram with the link down there in the description box and I will set you straight, right? So let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Cancer. Can I have 3 cards for Cancer, please? There's the first one. We have the High Priestess. Ooh, put a pin in that as well because I've got something to tell you about that. We have the 6 of Wands and we have the 9 of Cups. Right, so the thing that I was going to tell you was that I do a meditation before I start any of these readings, and I started yours. I don't know if meditation's the right word, to be honest. I think it's more like kind of like getting myself into a trance state. I don't know. I almost fell off my chair with the wave of energy that came through, like as soon as I closed my eyes and started focusing on you. Like, it was extreme. Cancer, I'm not sure what's going on with you at the moment, and hopefully we'll find out in a second, but it's really powerful, right? The Lion's Gate has been and gone. I think it's still kind of open a little bit, but obviously the power's kind of winding down. But I think that at the moment your intuitive abilities are absolutely off the charts, right? Maybe it is that synchronicities are being really wild at the moment, where you just know things, right? Now, you are Cancer, you are the Queen of Cups, you are the most receptive sign that there is, probably, well, all of the water signs are, but like, as water of water, as the Queen of Cups is, there's a special level of receptivity that you are open to. And like I've said before, I kind of have this theory that, and I've yet to be, I don't know, disavowed of that, that your emotional state and your intuitive abilities they run parallel. They're not the same thing, but they run really, really strongly alongside each other. And where your emotions are confused and when you don't really know what's going on and where, you know, you've got a lot of work to do, it builds up this kind of like static, this white noise between you and your intuition. And so you can't trust your intuition because you don't trust your emotions and you don't trust yourself and all this sort of thing, right? But as you do your work and as you start to you know, really, I don't know, for the want of a better word, find yourself, you start eliminating all of that static, eliminating that white noise. And suddenly when your intuition speaks, it's like the clearest fucking sound in the world. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you, you can hear that and you're just like, oh, okay, I need to go this way, or I need to go this way, or I need to not do this, or I need to, you know, observe that pretty white flag flapping in the wind there is actually something that I need to avoid rather than take photos of, right? That kind of thing. I feel like your intuition is absolutely on point at the moment because your emotions feel really clear to you. You know exactly where you stand and how you feel about an awful lot of things. Interestingly, we've got the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck there, and it does feel like you have made some major shifts. You've really moved away from something. And interestingly, what we've got is the Seven of Swords underneath that. Like, notice how the boat is traveling away from the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is deceit. It is deception. Often can be lots of other things too. But it can be the deceit and deception of other people, or it could be a self-deception, a self-deceit, you know, the way that you saw a situation because you really wanted it to be that way rather than looking at the reality of what it actually was, you know. It feels like you kind of got in your boat and you go, man, fuck this, I am leaving this situation behind, I am going somewhere else, you know. And it's a really positive stamp energetically, like, nah, not putting up with this shit, I'm going this way. And maybe your intuition is the thing that's been firing up here and saying, no, you can't stay here, you need to go elsewhere. Or maybe this particular emotional response is redundant in you because it's not getting you to where you want to be. It's not doing anything other than, you know, making your life hard. So fuck that, we're not about that anymore, going off in a different direction. Like, this is hands down the most positive set of cards for current energy that I have seen in this round of readings. A High Priestess, Six of Wands, Nine of Cups. Your emotions are good. They're really, really good. Like, you are feeling good at the moment. There's nothing is throwing a spanner in the works anywhere. Now, that isn't a coincidence, Cancer. That is because you are completely owning your own emotional state, and maybe you're not even paying attention to other people's. No, I don't think that's true because you are so sensitive and you are so receptive. But there's an understanding that there is a structural difference between your emotions and you taking responsibility for that and other people's too. It is not for you to do this for other people. It is not for you to do the emotional heavy lifting in any given interaction, right? And so as you take your energy back to yourself, as you start putting it into you, it is possible for you to sit there content and just be like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I have dominion over my own kingdom now and everything is good here. You're listening to your intuition and it's on fire at the moment, Cancer. It absolutely is on fire. And everything just feels good. Like, these two sixes here, real movement happening for you. Oh, I love it. Let's have a look and see why you are here. What's going on with this? Oh, fucking hell, Cancer. This is amazing. We have the Strength card, we have the Empress card, and we have the Five of Swords. And this is so important, especially since we've just seen, oh, look at that, we've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck as well. Particularly since we have just seen the Six of Swords with the Seven of Swords behind it. You know, it's the Five and the Seven of Swords it's kind of mucky energy. It is that energy of you're being stuck in a particular, you know, repetition of thoughts. And you know what I'm talking about there, right? Where you're internalizing other people's struggles, other people's projections, and you feel like you have to work harder to just put a smile on their face, you know, that kind of energy there. 5 energy is like the agents of chaos. That's how Aquarian Insight used to call it when she was on YouTube. But this is really, really positive, because this way around it speaks of poverty and lack, or a fear of that, and it talks about, to me specifically, not meeting your own basic needs, right? So the fact that it's come up here means that you are, even if you are not fully attending to those, you are aware that they exist and you're working on it, and that's so important. So important. Not only that, we have the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles behind here, and the confidence that you have in your ability to manifest the things that you need at this point seem to be really off the chart. And I think for the most part, that is because it isn't because you've necessarily just become this, you know, like spiritually muscle-bound genie or anything like that, you know, or just kind of blink things into existence. It's understanding that mindset is such a huge part of this. But I think that you're also changing your mind about the things that you thought were important, the things that you wanted to cultivate into your life, because what we've got here is huge spiritual growth that has occurred for you in the recent, so, you know, the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months. Maybe you've been through a big spiritual awakening. Right, that's highly possible, and now you're kind of in the energy of putting all of that information that you have been privy to, whether it's come, you know, from inside you or your higher self, or whatever it is that you are working with, you know. You consolidated all of that now. You understand it now. And there's a sense of you really understanding what abundance is, the true meaning of abundance. And it's not how many zeros you've got in your bank account. It isn't really any of the material things around you. The fuck? Oh, fucking somebody ringing me again. Unacceptable. I don't answer the phone. I just don't. I don't like people. I don't like talking on the phone. It really makes me uncomfortable. It's because I'm really deaf. I don't know if any of you know that, but I'm super, super deaf. So my brain has to work like 5 times faster than it should do to understand people on the phone, because I can't see their body language and I can't lip read, which is what I do mostly. Right. So I don't answer the phone. And there has been this theme that's been running through your readings recently, where that which has felt like a curse for you, just in exactly the same way as Scorpio, and actually Pisces too, that's that which has felt like a curse, which is your ability to be able to feel, your ability to be able to empathize to such an extent that you literally feel what somebody else is feeling. It's actually a blessing when it's in the right environment, and the right environment is the people, yes, but it's also the body and the mind that soul is occupying at any given point. And that's you, Cancer, as you are sat here right now in front of me. Right? The work that you have done on fixing your mindset and fixing the things that were the thought patterns and things like that were just kind of creatively destructive. It's putting you in a really, really strong position. Like I said, that wave of energy that just hit me, I almost fell off my stool. I was like, whoa, okay, this is cool. I like stuff like that, you know. So let's get some cards of advice, please. That's 1 and 2 and 3. We have, good Lord, it never ends. We have the 4 of Wands, we have the Hierophant, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. Cancer, this is extraordinary. I love this for you. The Fool does talk about new cycles. It does talk about starting again. It talks about taking a leap, sometimes, you know, into the unknown. And is that not what you're doing right now with the way that you are? When you leave behind conditioning, when you leave behind particular mindsets, you are choosing consciously to live under a different set of parameters, right? The filters that you've used over the years to understand things now no longer apply. You're kind of looking at them and going, oh, well, this is shit. It's not fucking good for anything, is it, right? right? It's like, maybe it's not been like a filter at all, maybe it's just like a solid sheet of perspex, and you're like, well, that's nearly good like that. But then you look on this side and it's got, you know, it's like chicken wire, and you're like, well, literally everything can get through that apart from chickens. Like, sheesh. There's somewhat of a personal revolution gone on here. But the thing that I like about this the most is that it speaks about trust, Cancer. And I don't feel like the trust is just arbitrarily being given to people around you, because to some degree or another, like, Cancer's been guilty of that kind of behavior. Venus in Cancer, right? Often we see the things that we want to see, the things that we hope that are there, rather than potential. Falling in love with potential. How many of us have done that? Oh, rather than actual, you know, behavior and actions and stuff like that, right? It's a difficult lesson to learn. I feel like the trust is in yourself, Cancer, and this is why you have energetically blown up, certainly in terms of the way that I can feel you moving right now. You are building a new foundation for yourself, and you're open to all the experiences, but you have wisdom on your side now. You've got these good boundaries, you've got a clear understanding of yourself and how you have worked. We've got the Hierophant. Now this is interesting, because the Hierophant is Taurian energy. And sometimes I don't like the Hierophant very much, because it seems a bit rigid and inflexible, but in the Llewellyn he's absolutely beautiful. He really is, because he's just sitting there in a state of peace. And what I like is that he doesn't have the acolytes. The Hierophant is an acolyte card, right? It's one of those cards where we see, you know, lesser people, you know, sitting at the foot of the Hierophant, receiving, you know, whatever knowledge he decides he's going to pass through at any given point. But this Hierophant is sitting in a state of peace by himself. And this is doubly interesting because it's you, Cancer, and relationships are so very important for you, but they are being conducted differently now. You know, if this were a standard Hierophant that was coming out for you, and a while ago, I would have felt like your position was more like that of an acolyte. And if you were the Hierophant itself, then it was always about trying to keep the status quo exactly as it was, rather than allowing for a more fluid sort of situation to come through. But I feel like you are building something very, very different for yourself now, and it is one where you are happy and comfortable and content to sit in your own space. And those people that you allow to be around you are the worthy ones, right? They're not the ones, you're kicking out such a different energy to where you were a year, 2 years ago. It's completely on its head now. And we've got this Ace of Pentacles. Right? Be aware of new opportunities, because they are starting to spring up around you. They're being attracted like a magnet to this energy that you are, you know, kicking out at the moment. But more than that, really give thought to what, as advice, this seems to be asking you to pay attention to what you are committing to. And make sure that at all points this is in alignment with where you want your life to go from this point on, right? We're not about falling into any bear traps or any holes that were of the nature of the previous cycle. So everything needs to be considered, but everything needs to sort of come by your hand too, right? Commit where the situation warrants commitment. And be aware that there are new things that are popping up around you. And they are good things. They feel extraordinary, actually. They feel really, really good, Cancer. There are opportunities for you to commit yourself in a truly fulfilling way coming in for you. Oh, this is awesome. Right, Cancer, I'm going to leave it there. This noise in the background's absolutely doing my nut in. I hope it hasn't come across on the microphone too much. Know that I love you all very, very much. I'm loving this. Really proud of you. It's cool. And take care, and I will see you soon.